Yeah.
This is so exciting.
It is. I have to twirl my towel, man. I got to twirl my towel.
Who
They? Who they? Go beat the Bengals. Listen, the energy that they're bringing here, the excitement for folks that live here as Bengal fans. For one, this completes an absolute turnaround in 1 year.
Yes, I am alive.
1 year ago, Zara Briggs, an electrical engineer moonlighting on stage, left Cincinnati stressed.
I didn't even get to see my apartment before I moved out here, so it was literally taking a leap of faith, like in all senses of the word. Alone, no family, no friends. I just kind of had to figure it out.
Her first taste of Kansas City felt fine. Friendly faces, fun places, and a job with enough spare time.
Save me
to enjoy passions.
Trip, 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 when I'm down and out.
Next to singing, it's football.
I feel like it was osmosis or something through my family because we are a huge football family.
Zara's dad played semi-pro and her brother Jawan is number 18, a defensive tackle for her alma mater, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats, who finished the most successful season in school history in college football's playoff New Year's Eve.
I think the only way to top that would be a Super Bowl down the line.
Which brings us to the Bengals. And that swarm of orange and black chanting all over town in full throat, preparing for the team's first AFC championship game in 3 decades.
Who they? Who they? Bingo, bingo, bingo.
Who they? Who they gonna beat them Bengals?
Nobody!
We're on the upward momentum of the city is just outrageous right now, especially with the football. So I feel like everybody's got that winning grit hard, like we are going to the top some way, somehow.
So in the basement of KC's 7th Heaven record store with members of Chiefs Kingdom watching, Zara sang her heart out in a Joe Burrow jersey.
The moment I walked outside of my apartment this morning, somebody stopped me like, "Oh no, what are you doing with that jersey?" I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all the heat. Come on, I'm here repping my city.
And she has plenty of backup, which is a sweet note in a year full of them so far. Larry Seward, WCPO 9 News.
Guys, on Monday, mailman Carl Herklatz walked up to this home and opened up the mailbox, put mail inside. And as he walked up the street to continue his route, warning bells kept going off in his head. Carl Herklatz has had the same mail route in Fort Thomas for 8 years, so he's familiar with the routines of people he delivers mail to.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
On Monday, when he walked up to this house on Rossmore Avenue, he noticed this. A full mailbox at the home of an 84-year-old woman.
Just a very pleasant lady.
Being familiar with her, he knew something wasn't right.
I've always looked for things like that.
That's when he told neighbor Katie Giancola, who called police to come do a welfare check.
They found her on the floor in the kitchen. Apparently she fell, she broke her hip, and she couldn't get up, and they said she'd been there for a couple days, probably since Friday.
And everyone just let out a sigh of relief. It was just very thankful that she was found in time and was alive.
Herklatz says the outcome could have been much worse.
If they hadn't gotten there when they did, there's a good possibility she would have perished.
Herklatz tells me the 84-year-old woman is still in the hospital. While she's recovering, it's back to his everyday route. But as he walks around delivering the mail,
how you doing?
Some people will be looking at him differently.
Carl is definitely a local hero.
I wouldn't consider myself a hero. I just consider myself to be a neighbor that's looking out for other neighbors in the neighborhood.
Herklatz tells me that he's encountered similar situations in the past, but nothing quite exactly like the one that happened at this mailbox and at this home here in Fort Thomas. And he says this situation is going to encourage him to be even more aware and vigilant about what's happening at the homes along his route. Reporting live in Fort Thomas, Cody Fisher, Fox 19 Now.
So, Jeannie, I have to ask you, were you surprised?
Oh my gosh, yes.
About a month after Jeannie Sperry celebrated her 45 years in nursing and her retirement with her Sainese family, she was back. And the visit was, of course, tied to her service here in the Fort Thomas Cardiac Rehab Program. Jeannie had no idea former patient Ken Reif was in the building.
There's somebody else that's coming too.
We were there for the moment.
We had to have a ploy for you to be here. So you're here for
Stephanie's birthday.
Not quite. Ken wanted to make sure the nurse who helped him recover from his heart issues about 20 years ago got proper props. As he planned, he thought maybe a poem or a story.
And I looked up, and there on my wall, I have a Kentucky Colonel also, which allowed me to ask for one for you. And I thought, how appropriate.
Here it is, the result of Governor Andy Beshear validating Ken's nomination, naming the Honorable Jeannie Sperry. And there was this commendation, too, from Senator Will Schroeder. Listen in.
For more than 3 decades, she has worked tirelessly to lead and develop what has become a highly successful program, touching countless lives.
All of it taken together made for some teary eyes, some well-deserved applause, and some big hugs.
Okay. You're amazing.
What attributes does a Kentucky colonel have?
Compassion, willingness to help someone.
Consider all the lives Jeannie helped put back on track.
I just love people, and I love getting to know people.
An effort made more precious with perspective.
8 years ago, I had open heart surgery and had to have my valve replaced, which put me in a position to even understand people even more. I was able to give more because I knew what they were going through.
Tricia, when Westchester Township Board of Trustee member Lee Wong took off his shirt inside of the town hall on Tuesday night, it wasn't because of recent events. It was because of an accumulation of decades of events. Lee Wong came to America in the late 60s. He was 18 and came here to go to college. While in Chicago, he says someone beat him up for being Asian.
That put me to the hospital. That was my first experience.
He would end up spending 20 years in the military. Even after he got out, he faced forms of discrimination.
Walked down grocery store, father with a kid, and the little boy would go like this to me. You know, I just, well, he's just a kid. But, you know, there is more to that. You know, he learned it from somebody.
He says it's been more than just kids. While campaigning as an elected official, he says people would come up to him and say,
"You don't look American enough." When someone come up to say that to me, it's like a stab in my heart.
That is one reason he took off his shirt during the Board of Trustees meeting, to show the scars he sustained while serving.
Now, is this patriot enough?
Wong says discrimination isn't felt by just him. Leo Chan runs the Midwest USA Chinese Chamber of Commerce.
People start calling into our office lines and leaving some verbiage that is very difficult to accept.
These two men are coming forward for one reason.
It seems that it's getting worse. There's killings going on.
They're talking about the string of spa shootings in Atlanta that left 8 people dead. Police have not said that the shooting was a hate crime or that the shooter was targeting Asians. Wong and Chan say they just want to go back to the basics of what they say is the American way.
Love one another, your neighbor, be kind, be gentle, and treat other people with respect and dignity.
Now, both men that we spoke with tonight, they wanted to make sure that people in Westchester knew that they love living in Westchester, and they believe that a lot of very kind people live right here in Westchester, but they also added that any level of discrimination needs to be called out and stopped. Reporting live in Westchester Township, Cody Fisher, Fox 19 Now.
Allison, neighbors tell me the man was a hoarder. His stuff can be seen all across his front yard and into theirs. Neighbors tell me they've lived next to this man for more than a decade, and they're sad he didn't make it.
I gave it everything I could. I couldn't handle it. I was just trying to get somebody that I cared about, like, safe. And I really feel so guilty because I couldn't get him out.
Charred and melted belongings surround this home on the 8500 block of Davis Road in Mainville.
The flames were coming out of the top of the doorway.
Jim Royal says he's remembering his neighbor and friend. He was killed around 9 o'clock last night when his home caught on fire.
He was a neighbor of mine. I've known him since I'm 42. I've known this guy since I was like 15. He's always like almost been a family member almost. Like, we were always really close. He always watched out for me. I always watched out for him. We were good neighbors.
Royal says he ran into the home trying to bring his friend to safety, but the flames were overpowering.
I'm sitting there on the edge of my bed thinking about what I could have done different. Like, I knew where he was in there, and I just couldn't get to him. Like I hit the ground and I started breathing. I was like, I can't handle this.
Deerfield Township Fire Department says the cause of the fire is under investigation and the home is a total loss, saying the fire was hard to put out because the victim was a hoarder.
When we walked outside, there was just red through the window right here. There was no flames or anything, just smoke. And then it ignited. It must have caught fabric or paper or something and lit up quick, and it was just rolling in all the windows. Very scary. I was screaming at the top of my lungs in the car.
Brittany Dortch lives next door to the victim and says he was a kind man who just owned a lot of stuff, including this rooster.
He just had that one. He is new, and I think he was traded, but I think it's our community chicken now.
Neighbors tell me the victim does have family in the area. The fire department tells me it's waiting on autopsy results to determine what could have started this fire. I'm live in Mainville. Joanna Boris, Fox 19 Now.